Going live, guys.
Oh, Mr. Paul.
Oh,
Hey, Roger, welcome back.
Going live, guys.
so what, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the tomorrow?
Oui.
What? I guess everybody's here.
Oui.
We have a long agenda, so we'll start slowly. So I'll call the meeting to order. Any declaration of pecuniary interest?
Yes,
Seeing-
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
I have to declare a conflict with the application C21-22. I have relatives involved, so,
okay, C2122, okay.
all right.
Madam Clerk Planner, you have recorded it?
I certainly have. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
thank
Chair.
you very much. And then there's no addendum that I know of. Okay, we'll go on to adopt the agenda. Do you have a motion on the
I'll
table?
get a mover and a seconder, please.
Mr. Senegal, Mr. Fisher,
It is moved by Denise Senecal and seconded by Chris Fisher. Be it resolved that the agenda for the West Nipissing Committee of Adjustment meeting on April the 11th, 2022 be adopted as presented.
everybody in favor as the agenda was circulated? Okay, carried. Adoption of the minutes. Motion, please.
I'll take a mover and a seconder, please.
Okay, Mr. Roger and Mr. Dennis.
It is moved by Roger Gagnon and seconded by Denise Senecal. Be it resolved that the minutes of the West Nipissing Committee of Adjustment meeting held on March the 14th, 2022 be adopted as presented.
I hope everybody had the opportunity to read the minutes. No amendment or
I
correction.
think Roger has a question.
Yes,
No,
Roger.
no,
Oh.
I'm just
I think,
getting ready to vote.
He was ready to vote. So I'll
Yes.
call it to a vote. Everybody in favor is circulated, carried. Any agency comments? What is that?
That is just the, that's just all the agency comments.
Okay, it's my usual statement there. Okay, for the information of people in attendance or planning to attend, this is classified as a quasi-judicial committee. So therefore, to protect your interests, please state your name and address when you speak. So if you have any, if you ever want to take any action on our decision, you'll be legally entitled to. Secondly, those people that have problem understanding the English language, please let us know and we'll translate for you in French. So we want to ensure that all the participants fully understand the process and they know what is going on. And I think that is about it, right? I covered everything. So now we'll go on to the application for consent and minor variance. We'll start with number 1, C14/22. Donald, Wright, Donald and Susan. Do you have a motion on the table to?
I do, and I'll take a mover and a seconder, please.
Mr. Senecal and Mr. Fisher.
It is moved by Denise Senecal and seconded by Chris Fisher. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Donald and Susan Wright for a lot addition at 112 Nevada Drive, being part of Lot 1 Concession 3, Parts 1 and 2, Plan 36R11-454 in Springer Township is approved. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is a kind of a strange situation, and it's hard to tell from the sketch that's in the agenda, but what happened a long time ago was there was a strip of land from the north side of Sabourin Road that got transferred to the people on the south side of the road because the north side lot extended down into the lot of the people south of the road. What happened was the road never got transferred out. So there was still a planning act. It was considered to be a planning act violation because the person on the north side still owned the road. So when it went to change hands last year, this planning act violation came to light and needed to be corrected because the buyers wanted they wanted it corrected. So in order to correct it, we're doing it as a lot addition to put the piece on legally that's been on and actually attached and paying taxes on it for quite a number of years. This is just a correction of an old violation.
Okay, so I guess there's no question or comments on this issue. It's straightforward. I'll call it to a vote. Everybody in favor as presented, carried. We'll go on to C20/22, Craig and Laurie McDonald.
Yeah, my papers are out of order here. What have I done? Yeah, look, you guys, I got everything's new, so I'm confused. Here we go. Hmm, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Ah, sorry, people. It is. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Okay, Mr. Fisher and Mr. Gagnon. Oh, excusez-moi, pas vite, mais.
It is moved by Chris Fisher
Yeah.
and seconded by Raji Gagnon. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Greg and Lori McDonald for the creation of 3 new lots at 140 Poitier Road, being the west half of Lot 11, Concession C, the Township of Caldwell. Mr. Chair, it's a fairly straightforward application. They've got property that fronts on the north side on, I believe, Rainville. It's about a second back of the property fronts on Poitier. What is being proposed here is some new lots, all of which meet the
No, I think, sorry, Melanie, the one we're looking at, I think is off Avenue du Lac, eh?
oh, sorry, they front on.
Yeah, you're
They
one
front
ahead
on
of us there.
Poitier. They front on Poitier and the backside is on Avenue du Lac. Sorry, I was one concession too north. So yes, you're absolutely correct. So what is being proposed is 3 new lots along Avenue du Lac, all of which are in excess of the minimums in terms of lot area. Anything to add, Mr. Goodrich?
Nope, pretty much says it all.
So any comments or questions from the members? Any question or comments from the audience, if there's any? Hearing none, I'll call it to a vote. Everybody in favor as presented. 1, 2, 3, 4, carried. Now we'll go to the, I think the one you were trying to present a minute ago.
Losing my mind.
And on this one.
No, actually, we're going to
Mr.
Trotsier Road.
Yeah. That's the one that Mr. Dennis has declared a conflict, right?
That
Okay.
is correct. And I will read the resolution if I get a mover and a seconder, please.
Okay, Mr. Fisher and Mr. Fern.
It is moved by Chris Fisher and seconded by Fern Pellerin. Be it resolved, the consent application made by Damir Kalak for the creation of 3 new lots on Trotsier Road, being part of Lot 1, Concession 1, Part 1, 36R 4165 in the Township of McPherson. Thank you, Mr. Chair. You read the documents that I provided with your agenda. You'll see that I'm not recommending this particular severance. I feel that given that the lands are almost entirely consisting of wetlands, unevaluated wetlands in any event, and the fact that there is no apparent area on the lot, on the proposed lots, which is not 1.25 meters under the lake level. As you'll see, I provided you with the contours on there. It's all at about 196, and the floodplain for for Nipissing is 197.25. I think the fact that it's all wetland and there's no high spots anywhere on that property. And further, I received a letter of objection, and I'm going to read it to you because it didn't make it into your agenda, and I apologize for that. So, good day, Melanie. Just a quick email outlining my concern over the proposal to sever 3 lots on Trotsier Road. First of all, the property is substantially lower than the surrounding area. In fact, pretty much the same height as the lake, which I believe is own hazard. This is also a turtle nesting area. I have personally seen them come to my higher ground to lay their eggs for every June for the past 3 years. Many waterfowl also use the area to nest until the young ones are ready to move out to the lake. There are many frogs and birds that use it for their habitat. Finally, I am worried that any development of these lots could have a significant environmental impact on these wetlands, especially in the springtime when this marsh floods considerably. I hope this helps. Thank you for your attention. Respectfully, Dan Senecat. Yes, I've attached a short video of turtle laying eggs if you need it. And he did provide a video, which was too big to upload into your agenda, but I did see it and I did see the turtles.
Yeah. And can I ask you a question, Madame Mélanie, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, as far as I know, I think the province, as in their policy statement and all that, that they highly support that we protect as much as possible land, marshland with environmental issue whenever we can, even if they're not declared as being provincially significant. Am I right in this? It used to be, but I'm not fully 100% aware of all the laws there.
That is correct. Particularly in the unevaluated ones, there is direction that if they are unevaluated, that they be evaluated at the very least before any decision be made regarding any kind of development. And, you know, would that the committee would want to recommend this, I have indicated that I would recommend a condition that a preliminary environmental assessment be carried out because to see if there's any species at risk or natural heritage features existing on the property.
Yeah. And further to that, if I may ask your guidance again, is that if the consultant for the applicant wants this to proceed, would the panel member be willing to, or can they defer the application until all these documents, like, you know, environmental assessment and all that, be submitted to this panel, or do we make a final decision tonight? Yes, Mr. Gagnon. I see. Yes,
the point I have that is I agree with you, Mr. Roberge, that if there is an assessment that needs to be done first, I would prefer waiting for an assessment on it.
Okay. So and Mr. Goodrich, I believe you're the consulting firm on this application. Could we have your input, please?
Well, certainly. Thank you. Just a few things to point out. The lands between the hydro line and the road, although they're shown with little swampy symbols on them in the provincial mapping, that's not exactly the case. The M&R website shows a spot elevation on the hydro line of 198. And it does show the 200-meter contour, which is also on the document in your package. The 200-meter contour line is also shown. So particularly the severance, severed 3 and 2 have about, I guess severed 2 and 1 would have approximately 100 to 150 feet between the road and the hydro line, and severed lot 3 has about 250 feet from the road down to the hydro line. So there is significant areas for building and development while still preserving the wetlands to the south of the hydro lines.
Would you be willing to reduce your lots to not include those lands down?
Well, it helps to make up the minimum area requirement for the 1 hectare. And also with if they are doing the environmental study, there's ways to put pipe dock boardwalks through the wetlands to still preserve the area, but still grant some access to the water. And those are typically recommendations that would come from a firm such as FRI. The only problem I have with deferring until we do the until we do the assessment. And I note the only objector here tonight is focused on the environmental issues, and rightly so. But the assessments cost a fair bit of money. So as long as there was some assurance that if the assessment came back positive, that we would get a favorable review, would be wonderful. My personal preference would be to see them granted, but subject to the favorable review by a firm such as FRI, and that has been done in the past. It would also give us an opportunity, once we go out to do some of the survey work, to be able to obtain some specific topographic information on each of the properties also.
Okay, but no, to grant it on with these requirement, I'm not conferable. It would be either, as suggested by the town planner, that you try and create lots that do meet the elevation requirement, like you said, it would up to that thing. And as long as they don't encroach on the wetland area, maybe, let's say you have to go across the power line by 10, 15 feet or 20 feet, if it's a minimum encroachment, I think we would be considering it. But otherwise, it's as recommended. My position is the whole assessment before we even look at it, because I still have a problem. You can say boardwalk and all of this. This is being created to sell. How do you enforce it? Then we're putting the municipality in a position to do the enforcing, keep track of it. And no, the less problem that we create, the better we are. Yes, Mr. Fisher, what is, I see you at your end up.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Do I recognize this because we just dealt with a next door or a lot over, or is that why this looks familiar to me, or is it just something similar I'm looking at?
We've dealt with the issue involving wetlands before. So as far as I know, that's a new one, but we had very similar to that before. Yes, Madame Melanie?
We had one, just one lot north of this last meeting
Okay.
on Trotse Road. So up above that curve, on the lot above that curve, we had one on the last meeting. So, but that land up there is considerably, it has a great deal more options for development.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just give my 2 cents. I concur with what's been said. I would err on the side of caution, and with this one, you know, it's wetland and it's important. So I'm with Norm. Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to defer then?
If my senior consultant, we can either scrap it or defer it, and this way we're giving you the option of presenting something we can accept.
Deferral sounds like a good option.
Okay. So everybody in favor of deferring? And I guess we won't put a time stamp on it because it might take you a month or 2 months or whatever. That's okay? That's okay, Madame Melanie?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
That's okay that I don't put the time stamp.
We're supposed to give it a date, but we can always extend that. Do you want to go with 3 months or what works for you?
Yeah, what are you going to, if we go until the June meeting, is that too early? That's okay?
Well,
Or the July meeting?
Yeah, let's try, just because I know some of the species at risk that they'll be looking for aren't prevalent until sometime into June.
Okay,
so we are kind of dependent then on the FRI firm or whomever. Hang on 1 sec. Sorry, Don. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was able to get in through the website, and I'm in right now. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you name the date, we'll agree to it. July, August?
let's give them a month to do up their report. So let's say August.
August,
If we get
okay.
it done sooner, we'll bring it back through Melanie to yourselves.
So
Okay.
that'll be around probably around the 8th of August.
Yeah. Second Monday of August, if there's no change.
Yep,
Perfect.
sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so everybody in favor, so we carry on. You can come back on the system, Mr. Senecal. We're done with this issue.
I'm back.
Oh, there he is. Okay, we go on to C2222, Maxim and Joyce Laven.
Over in a second, please.
Okay, Mr. Fisher and, okay, Fern.
It is moved by Chris Fisher and seconded by Fern Pellerin. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Maxim and Joyce Laverne for the creation of a new lot at 660 Burnt Lake Road, being part of Lot 6, Concession 5 in the Township of Springer. 3, Mr. Chair, this is a straightforward technical severance of 2 previously patented properties which merged by common ownership.
Mm-hmm. So I think everybody understand that. There's no issue. We're just putting something back legal the way it should have been. So everybody in favor as presented, carried. We go
Excuse
on.
me.
Who's
I'm
that?
sorry, excuse me, Mr. Chair. I'm just finding out that some people are having a hard time getting through, and they asked just if Melanie could have a quick look at that.
Can you, okay, so for anybody who's having difficulty, we have a new system. You have to go onto the agenda, open the agenda, and click on the link in the agenda.
Perfect. Yeah, did you get that? You have to click on the link in the agenda. Like I said, go to the calendar, click on that. Okay, I'm told it's not working. It did work for me.
Oh, I will tell you one thing. A problem I ran into was that my computer was not granting permission, so I had to go into that part of the settings to change the permission settings so it would let it go through.
Chris?
Took me half an hour to figure that one out.
I was just gonna say that for some people, there's no phone number on the agenda for people who needed to dial. And people like me, I can't click on the link because I actually zoom in from a separate, like I have an old laptop that I use, so I actually
And I
type
apologize.
the code and the password separately. Like if I couldn't get in with just that link if I
I
tried.
apologize. We're road testing some
New system, I understand.
new system, and this is the first time. I thought I'd use you guys as my guinea pigs before I take it live to council. You guys are more easy on me. So I'm gonna just read the I don't know how to get the phone number out there for those who wanted to dial in. But I will, but the link in the agenda does work. I tested it from several computers. Is that how you were able to get in, Denny?
Hmm?
Were you able to click on the link in the agenda, Denny?
Denis, ça a marché?
Yes, that's how I got in. Yes.
Yeah, okay, Roger too. So there may be, if you have a pop-up blocker, that might be something. Sometimes people have a pop-up blocker that keeps it from opening because it opens as a PDF. Go up in the right-hand corner of your screen and turn off the pop-up blocker.
Mel, could you give me the number and I'll
Yes.
text it to the people that were calling me?
I apologize. So it is 1647 737. Oh, sorry, 647 374 4685. Oh no, I'm lying. That is the one. Stop that. I apologize. It is, I think I said it right. 1647 374 4685. The meeting
Okay.
ID is 265 014 1204. And the passcode is 654321. And I apologize. I appreciate everybody's patience, and I will I've already written down what I did wrong this time.
So are we all okay to carry on? Yeah, okay. So where were we? We at? We're at
Yeah.
Piet, eh? Yes. Could we have a motion, please? Okay, Chris, and who else? Okay, Roger. Okay, perfect.
It is moved by Chris Fisher and seconded by Raji Gagnon. Be it resolved, the consent application made by Celine Piet and Tommy Fournier for the creation of a new lot at Carmen and North and South Roads, being the north half of Lot 8, Concession 1 in the Township of Kirkpatrick. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is again, not a particularly complicated application. What is being proposed is a new lot. It's at the corner of North and South Road and Carmen Road. It's 17 hectares, ample frontage on both roads. No concerns.
Okay, any question or comments? Okay. So, okay, any question or comments from the audience, if there's any? Hearing none, I'll call it to a vote. Everybody in favor as presented? Carried. Now we'll go on to C24/22, SVK completion solution.
Mover and a seconder.
Right?
I need a mover and a seconder.
Okay, Roger and Fern.
It is moved by Raji Gagnon and seconded by Fernand Perrin. Be it resolved that the consent application made by SBK Completion Solutions Inc. for the creation of 3 new lots at 511 Piquette Road in Verner, being the south half of Lot 2, Concession 3 in the Township of Kirkpatrick. For you, Mr. Chair, I don't see all of the lots being proposed. They're different shapes and sizes, but the one on the east boundary, I believe there's a creek there that it's following the creek line.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I figured.
Yeah, the other 2 lots, one is 16 acres or 6 hectares. The other is 1.3 hectares or 3 and change acres, all in excess of the minimum lot area and amount for the rural zone.
I would like to ask a question to Mr. Paul there. Okay, I see on between Piquette and the road there, what happened? That's on the short part there, that like kind of roof shaped piece of land there. What happens to that?
No, that's exactly what you had thought. It's where the creek comes across. So the boundary line was deviated to not have to run through the creek.
Yeah, I know that one. That's for several tree there. But what I'm talking out,
Oh,
you see,
oh, the
you see
little piece,
Piquette Road and it goes around a rock or something, a rock formation. Now, who's going to own that rock formation?
The rock formation is still owned as part of the retained land. Now, if the neighbor is interested in acquiring it to have road frontage in that location, that's something the 2 neighbors can work out. But that's not something we've really created, and we can't.
No, I
Can't
know
do
it's
anything with it.
It's actually what you would call a natural severance.
That's it exactly, but it's too small to form a building lot by itself. So it's essentially wasted
So-
land unless the neighbor could use it.
Or the owner on the south side of the property
Correct.
line.
Correct. Or maybe with it being a rock, maybe there's nice big blueberry patches up there. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, but if there's, if there's a lot of ownership for the same blueberry patch, you're looking at trouble. Yes, Mr. Fisher.
So maybe I'm confused about this, but the way that Piquette Road drops away and my understanding of are we landlocking the remaining pieces, or am I looking at the map before wrong? That shows the big piece, and essentially we're taking a chunk out of that. Does that leave landlocked severed pieces, or am I just completely got this wrong?
No,
Thank you.
there's no landlocked issue there, as I know.
I'm not talking about the chunk that's being carved up. I'm talking about the pieces next to it. Away from the one severed 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just looked.
Oh, you're talking
East
about
of
the
it.
pieces on the east.
Yeah,
Oh, I do see what you mean. I'm just going to share my screen here. I see what Mr. Fisher is speaking about. Okay, I'm just giving a second here. I'm just going to share my screen. So what I believe Mr. Fisher is referring to is this here. So this property on the east doesn't have any frontage on the road.
that's what I'm talking.
Yeah, Paul?
Yeah, no, if you look a little closer at the sketch, the width of severed 3, we start at that southeast corner of our
Right here?
property. Nope, go to the right. Go to the right, right there, the southeast corner. And then we extended that westerly until we had at least the 62 meters of frontage, which is just slightly more than the 60 minimum, to make sure that we did have frontage on the road and we weren't creating a landlocked parcel.
So this
all-
property essentially has to put their entrance right here.
well, they've got over 200 feet to locate their entrance.
Yeah.
Like in width. So they've got lots of room to still do their entrance.
So from here, this is where the creek is. So basically along here.
Yeah, in fact, the difference between your coloring, like you'll notice the green section to the south, it has that same, oh, no, now it's all green.
Yeah, go back to the previous picture. There.
Yeah, and then right at the bend in the road, there's a little jog in the tan colored or pinkish colored bush right there. And if you look at our sketch, that corresponds to the little jog in the southwest corner of severed 3. So from that little jog, we go about 200 feet to the west,
This
and
way.
then that's where severed 3 starts.
Okay.
C'est en Louis VI,
Oui.
de chemin.
Oui, oui, c'est sur Marcel Piquette.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Fisher?
Sort of, but so now you've kind of explained that to me. So now I'm concerned about, because
Yeah,
basically the big
if you
square
go
we're
to
chopping into, we're chopping the big square, we're chopping sort of a bit more than a quarter. So then I'm gonna ask, okay, well, how does the northern section have access after this? Because I see one road running.
Okay, if you go to the map that was submitted with the drawing that show all the lots there, you'll see at the bottom where the road allowance is on that parcel of land, and you see at the on severed 3, the west corner of that lot is shown joining the road, and then it finished with a little slant there. So that section is the public road part that gives access to severed 3, and all the other 3 parts have full road access across their frontage. So there's no problem there.
And this lot here has frontage here and all along here.
So what I'm talking about is not those particular lots I'm talking about. So now, because this is only taking a quarter of this different color shaded piece out for these 4 lots. So now I have a chunk above it that I don't see road access to.
This
And
here?
I get, no, go north. No,
Can you put the
that
severed
that was
sketch
my
on?
original, that was the original thing. And then, but now I want you to go northwest. So go push the whole thing up and go northwest and show me above this piece that we're carving up. I'm confused. Sorry.
Can you put the severed sketch on, the severance sketch on?
Yeah.
It'll show it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm referring to lot that's got the PIN number that ends 86. And I see the 84's got access to the road, but it's 86.
Oh,
But it's
okay.
86. Yeah.
That I've got the answer for you, Councillor Fisher. That's immediately north of the land that we're dealing with right now. But if you remember back a few meetings, we came in for Sam Kolesnichenko, and he owns the land up on Betty Road and right at the end of Betty Road. And what we did there, we severed a piece off of the lot immediately east of the pin that ends in 86. And now we just haven't finalized the survey yet, but that formed one very large lot with access out to the end of the municipal maintenance of Betty Road. So that property is not landlocked. It does have direct access to Betty Road, or will have direct access.
This belongs to this.
I'm not sure what this and this are.
Can you not see my screen?
Your screen still shows the
Oh,
the
my goodness. sorry.
satellite image.
We're just gonna do the right sharing. Better?
That's better.
So this is part of this.
It's all, yeah, it's all part of that right now. Right where your little hand is, that little piece just north of your hand is being added to the north half of lot 2.
Okay,
And that's going to give direct access to that large 160-acre piece of property directly out to the end of Betty Road.
these are separate entities anyway.
Oh, totally.
They've
yes.
got different PIN numbers. They're not, this doesn't create it. This severance doesn't, it already exists.
Yeah, it's separate ownership to the north.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I have no problems.
Perfect.
Okay. So I guess there's no more comments on this issue, none from the public, so I'll call to a vote. Everybody in favor?
Can I ask one question?
Yes?
We own the property on the south side of Paquette, and there's an existing house on that property. Is that part of one of the lots? Is it lot 2, or is it not shown here?
I'm getting a nod that it's lot 2.
Small lot.
No, there's an existing house.
Yeah, it will be on the small lot.
Oh, on Severed 2.
Yes.
That's correct.
Oh, so that's what that Severed 2 is the existing house.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep, that's all I need to know.
Okay. So any other question or
Can I
comment?
get your name, sir?
It's Hubert Vanderhayden.
Thank you.
Okay. I also couldn't get into the YouTube link, so I just dialed in.
I thank you. I do apologize. I said I'm going to try and get it better next month. I promise.
New technology.
New technology.
Okay. Any other comments regarding this application? Okay, hearing none, I'll call it to a vote. Everybody in favor as presented? Carried. Now we'll go on to number 7C 2522, Dennis and Lorraine Lafont.
It is. I need a mover and a seconder.
Okay, Fern and Chris.
It is moved by Fern Pellerin and seconded by Chris Fisher. Be it resolved that a consent application made by Denis and Lorraine Lafont for the creation of a new lot on Canal Road, being lots 11 and 12, plan 36M 679 in the township of Springer. For you, Mr. Chair, this is basically 2 lots on Canal Road that are part of the first phase of the Casa subdivision. Each of those lots is an acre in size. Because they're partially serviced, they do not require that much area. And what they're doing is taking half out of a piece out of a third out of each to make one lot to make 3 lots out of 2.
Okay, yeah, so, and that's a registered M plan, so do we have to pass that usual ballot to remove it from the M plan and not in this
Well,
case?
not when we put them together, we have to do that, but when we take them apart, we don't.
Oh, okay, thank you. So any question or comments on this issue? I think it's a fairly straightforward application. Hearing none from the public. So hearing none, I'll call it to a vote. Everybody in favor as presented, carried. Could we please go to line 8, C2622, France Rainville Saint-Louis, and Chris Saint-Louis, please.
Mover and a seconder, please.
Okay, Roger and Mr. Fisher.
Moved by Roger Gagnon and seconded by Chris Fisher. For the consent application made by France Rainville Saint-Louis and Chris Saint-Louis for the creation of new lots and a lot addition on Drive-In Road and Ladon Road in Sturgeon Falls, being part of Lot 6, Concession 1 in the Township of Springer. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is a piece of property that was naturally severed by a strip of land that the municipality acquired a number of years ago in order to loop the water main. So we could loop the water main at the end of Sand Hill and take it through and loop it around Drive-In Road.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no road there, but we do own a strip of land through which the pipes run, which created a natural severance of that property. And this northerly piece of the property was acquired by the individuals that own it today. And what they're seeking to do is to sever off a lot to make basically there'll be 2 lots and sever 2 lots plus the retained, as well as a lot addition to one of the dwellings on one of the existing dwellings on Drive-In Road.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that did come up is I am not 100% certain whether or not it was addressed during the water main looping, but there was, if I recall correctly, Paul, an encroachment of the municipal water main on the corner of Madame Rainville's property. Is that correct?
Yeah, at the corner of Cache Bay Road and Laronde Road.
Yes.
But I thought they redid the pipe in that area.
I'm not 100% sure, but in the event that the pipe is still on the property, I have asked for an easement.
Now, if that's the original pipe, because I know we marked it so that they could put the pipe in the right spot. So if the pipe if it's a new pipe, but in the wrong spot, is that still my client's responsibility?
Well, can we put it as a condition and we'll have a conversation about it once we know what's what?
If it's the original pipe, then that would be fine. Yeah.
Okay. And yes, that would be, just for the sake of the, does anyone want to see it, or do you understand what see where the property kind of dips at the, on Cache Bay Road? That's where there was, the water main is either in the ditch or very, very close to the lot line. So in the event that it's on the property, I'm requesting they would grant the municipality an easement for that.
Is the
In case it breaks, we need to fix it.
Yes, Mr.
will the municipality locate it?
Yep,
Okay.
for sure.
Any question or comments? Is the applicant, I thought I saw that their name appear for a few seconds a while ago. They don't have any question or comments?
One other
Yes.
thing that I will raise.
Yes.
This property, and actually a couple of the others that we went by and I forgot to raise it, are within the watershed. This property is within the watershed for the Cedar Grove drain. So one of the other conditions will be a section 65 at the cost of the owners for the apportionment of the drainage assessments.
Yeah, because so you understand that, Mr. You're aware of the process that they will go on to. It's for a residential lot, it's not usually very much there, but it's just to register it in the system.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
No problem. And we did note it on the other applications, so no problem with that.
Okay, I want to make sure everybody understand the rules, so then there's no surprise down the line. Any other question or comments? So hearing none, I'll call it to a vote. Everybody in favor as presented? Carried. And, hey. So we're getting there. Number 9, C2722.
Did I lose an application? Oh, yes. Mover and a seconder, please.
Okay, Mr. Fisher and Mr. Fern.
It is moved by Chris Fisher and seconded by Fern Pellerin that a consent application made by Northland Farms and Contracting for the creation of 3 new lots on Poirier Road, being part of lots 11 and 12, Concession B, in the township of Caldwell. Through you, Mr. Chair, this property has been the subject of a number of severances over the last little while and over the last few years. As you'll see from the parcel fabric attached, that there's been quite a number of severances, and I think we saw 2 or 3 more at the last meeting on the Rainville Road side of this property. I do believe that the proposed entrances of this property are very problematic because of if anybody's ever driven down Poirier Road at that location, it's not, the sight lines are terrible and the road itself is very twisty, and I'm not, our public works director has flagged a concern with regard to entrances to this property. However, my main concern is the number of severances that have been taken off this property are well in excess of the number that are recommended. And I believe that this is not very good strip development. And
Yeah.
I don't recommend it due to the number of severances that have already been granted on this property.
Yeah, and I fully concur that when you look at the map there and you see to the north end of those property, all the transactions that have already taken place, and then to add this, we're getting into more of a subdivision or residential, and I think that is that is not good planning, and it's just looking for future problems. So personally, I cannot recommend it, and I guess I'll let the panel member discuss it there further if they have any opinions on it. So my personal recommendation is that this one be defeated. And Mr. Goodrich, you know the process, you know the legal rights that your client has. So if you're not in agreement with our position, you're welcome to encourage him to take the step and go to the tribunal. But
He does get to argue his case.
Let's get past the vote first, and then we'll worry about ramifications from there. Okay. So in my client's favor, and so initially the lots that have been severed off along the North Road, in this particular case, were done by a previous owner. I believe only one so far has been done by the same owner, and that is right at the line, kind of the split line in lot 12, and it's the lot immediately to the west of that split line along the North Road. Now, they have created a couple of others, but what we're looking to do is create a total of 3 lots along the south of the property. The property is a mile deep, so it's a mile between the roads. So we're not really creating a long strip of land. You'll notice the land at the south, as it's now just come up on the screen also, is very heavily wooded. And then you can clearly see from this image that there is a lot of rock. So the farmlands are all well to the north of what we're proposing to create. And we're only creating 3 very large lots, each with lots of frontage on Poirier Road. Now, yes, the road does wind, but we feel that there is ample spots within each of these areas to be able to have a safe driveway with a line of sight. Perhaps what we can do is simply make it conditional upon us being able to certify that we can meet the MTO standards for sightline distances for safe entrances. And if we can do that in accordance with the MTO traffic manual that they have published, it's online. We've done this numerous times for other clients where we will go out and actually measure the sight lines in accordance with their standards. And they're very specific how we have to do our measurements. Like I say, we've done it in the past. We know their regulations, we know their requirements. So, and then it would simply come down to if it was an isolated area within the frontage that the driveway had to be located, then we could mark that so that the public works staff could then ensure that the entrance that is being granted is actually being constructed in the spot that does meet the minimum requirements. So that's about it. We're really not creating a lot of strip development here.
Yeah.
The point about it going to a subdivision, I've never liked going to subdivisions merely just on the numbers, because the whole point of a subdivision is so you can enter into a subdivision agreement so that the services that are to be turned over to the municipality are built to a certain design standards. In this case, there's nothing, there's no municipal infrastructure which would be the subject of this application. The road is already in place. If we can meet the sight line distances, this is unusable land otherwise. So why not make highest and best use of the land resource? Have the best tax base that you can. We're not in a prime ag area. So I personally can't see what the problem is it would be along Poirier Road.
Yeah, okay, Mr. I fully understand your point. You're very good at selling your product. But one thing is, regardless who did all the lot splits on these property, they did take place on that parcel of land. No, regardless if it's the previous owner or this owner. And the policy here is to limit the amount of lot severance that are created on a per parcel. We will go up to 3, and that is kind of a maximum, like we prefer less, but 1, no problem. The owner wants, give a lot to his children or family member or to retire, then you get 2. And then you could see in about 30% of the cases, we have supported up to 3. But these 2 parcels together, it's like one ownership, have already exceeded that. And now to add another 3, we're creating a precedent. We're up to, it's always the same property we're talking about, the same land. I fully understand your point of view that it's a forested area, that end or whatever, but I'm not comfortable encouraging more development, and especially with the problem with the road. I see Mr. Senecal got his hand. Please give me your opinion. Or give us your...
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'm a proponent of development, and to go into not to let this go because of the amount or the numbers, I don't feel right. I think there's no other use for this land, and it's going to create lots for development in our area. And doesn't matter how many lots there were. I mean, it's just we're here to make sure that there's economic development that's progressing. And if it was other types of land, or if the issue of the line of sight is is the only issue besides the number of lots. Doesn't matter how many lots, as long as the area is being developed, it's not against, there's no agricultural issues. It's just development. If we get families in there, fine. Living is not that populated. And I'm not against development, and I would support this. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
so you're only concerned if the applicant can address the issue of properly and safe access to the road?
Yes, as
Yeah,
per
but it's
the
got
planners.
beyond a doubt, it has to meet all the requirement for I believe that whatever the speed limit is on that road, I think it's 70, so the line of sight must agree to that.
I
road
don't see any other objections.
Okay, so I have your point. Mr. Fisher,
So I just have, just east of this, looking at I just pulled up a bigger satellite map. So just east of this looks like agricultural land to me, certainly from what I'm looking at via the satellite. And is that fair to say that it's mostly agricultural after that? And then secondly, I guess I would not come. I haven't come across one. I don't think where we've said, okay, this piece of land has been severed too many times, and I always understood that we got to, the 3 is the number, and this has already been done more on the north end. So I guess my question, to play the devil's advocate, is where does that end? Where, if we don't draw the line, the next people that say, because land is valuable. I mean, if you permitted me to sever my land up without making a subdivision, I could be really rich really fast. So where does that end would be my question. So 2 questions. One about the farmland further on, because I see that is in conflict with that, and then where does the severance thing end? Like what is the guideline? And I don't know. So and having said all that, I'm also in agreement with Denis that we don't want to block. It's a juggling act to me on this one. So somebody changed my mind. I mean, you say yes.
Okay.
No.
Mr. Senecal, and then Madame Melanie, I believe, had a comment to make.
I'll let Madame Melanie go first to see
I just wanted to, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to address Mr. Fisher's query. He asked where the direction comes from. And there is in our official plan direction that it's 2 plus the retained when it comes to severances. And I know I'm not going to tell you we haven't fudged that a little bit, 3 here and, another one there. And I think we've been very, very accommodating to most developers over the years. I'm just concerned that this particular lot has seen more severances than any other lot that I can ever recall. So I'm just putting it out there.
Oui, Monsieur Senecal.
Just like to comment, Mr. Chris, I don't see the farmland on the east side there. I don't know.
No, it's on the north side. I think maybe he's disoriented.
I thought it was east side. Okay.
Yeah, he said east side, but if you look at the map, it's north side.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So that takes care of that argument, but I'll still go back to development. I said better to leave the land sitting idle than to not develop it and just leave it like that. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I fully understand. I appreciate your comment.
Yes, thank you.
I believe I'll go on to Mr. Gagnon and then come back to Mr. Fisher.
The question I have is underneath severed 1 on the plan, where the lot goes down, where actually the word lot is does that become part of severed 1?
No.
Because a lot goes down. Is that another? Will that become another parcel?
That is the township plot in concession C, and we're dealing with part of lot 12 in concession B.
Okay, but the travel road goes down, so that makes it.
There's all kind of rock outcrops there, and when they were back in the early 1900, they just went around all the mountains back and forth.
Okay, so that's not creating another natural severance
Is
where
this,
No.
the,
is this
where
what you're
the-
talking about here, Roger?
yes, correct.
No, these pieces here were originally part of these lots here, and they're
Okay.
already two separate pieces.
Okay,
They belong, they were natural severances coming out of these farms on the south side.
okay,
That were big enough to actually use as building lots. So they've already got, as you see, they already have their own numbers.
okay,
They're already, they're
Yeah, and
already.
they were natural severance of the southern portion.
okay. So that's why severed 1 and severed 2 touch the traveled road to have access to them.
Here,
Right.
here,
Exactly.
and down there.
Okay, I agree. So
Okay.
on that note, I also agree with Mr. Senecal that I'm a pro developer. So instead of having land just sitting there, I prefer having tax revenue coming to the municipality. That if ever it would become another property or family building on that lot, I would agree with it.
Okay, so do you also agree with Mr. Goodrich's presentation and confirmed by Mr. Senecal? To
Yes.
go ahead, you must have a proper site
Correct.
view for the speed, the travels, posted speed of 70 clicks per hour there, eh?
Correct.
Okay, yes, Mr. Fisher had his hand first and then you're on.
So I just wanted to, I'm not looking at the same map as you guys. I'm looking at the satellite map and I'm looking much bigger picture. So I am saying to the east and southeast. So on my map, I have marked out, actually kind of strangely, but there's Old McDonald's family farm. And I'm talking about the whole sort of disposition of the area, the larger disposition of the area, even as you get to Eugene and Alouette, that all looks very much like farmland to me.
It is, but
That's
it's not, but it's not designated prime agriculture in our official plan. It is designated rural.
So it's all that, and even Old McDonald's family farm is designated rural. It's not
The stuff on the north side of Rainville Road is agriculture. So,
okay.
so when we get up to, let's go up in here, come on, open it up. So this is Rainville Road up here. This stuff up here, because it fronts on Highway 64, this all in here is considered prime ag. Everything south of this is all rural because agricultural land is designated by the number of hectares within a certain area. In this area, the amount of rock outweighs the amount of farmable land. So it's designated rural. There's more rocks than there is farms. Now, Mr. Schwartzentruber has cleared and tiled and improved the farmlands that are here considerably over the years, but his farm does consist of an awful lot of rocks, as does everybody down in this area here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, Mr. Fern?
Yes, I got a couple questions. What was the comments of the Public Works?
Mr. Remiard has concerns about the entrances, like Mr. Goodrich had indicated.
Okay. And concerning the amount of lots, like, I know our bylaw says 2 plus 1 may be considered if on water per property per owner. If we're gonna keep exceeding this, we should either revisit the bylaw or we're not going blind like we do for the sidewalks in town.
The difficulty is that municipal affairs does not like rural development, and it's unlikely that they would let us change our official plan to make it unlimited, because the direction of the province is that strip development is bad and they don't like it at all.
And I would further to what Madame Melanie is saying, I was involved when the municipality did present this, and we had a hard time convincing municipal affair to even grant us the 2+1. They wanted even less than that. They wanted, you don't do anything if it property is under 100 acre. All our parcel are 80 acres, so we had to convince them that in Northern Ontario, we don't have a 100-acre parcel, we have 80-acre parcel, or the multiple of 80. So I think we spent about 6 months arguing with the province to get as much as we got right now. So that's why we have to be careful, because if we go further, no, I understand, fully support Mr. Senecal's point of view that this land is not giving us any revenues. There's a potential for houses and all that. But personally, I'm stuck there. Yes, Mr. Senecal.
If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Chair, our official plan is due for a rehab there this year, I think.
Yeah, the
I think
5
it
year or
would
10
be a
year.
good,
Yeah.
would be a good opportunity to deal with these issues because, you know, if you go down south, they don't have any problems with wasting agricultural land for arenas and all that junk. But us, we
Yeah.
can, you know, we're having our type of having a few lots. No, I don't agree. So anyways,
Yeah.
when we deal with the official plan, that would be the time to bring that up.
Yeah, that's, and I hope you're successful, because that's an argument I had myself 10 years ago. We have all these rock outcrops, why cannot we do something with them? But, so anyway, I think everybody had the opportunity to mention their position. And so I have two versions, so I'll call it on the amended, yes, Madame Melanie.
Can I just confirm the proposed amendment regarding what Mr. Goodrich had indicated? That an evaluation shall be made to ensure that the sight lines for entrances meet the MTO guidelines? Is that what
Yeah.
it's indicated?
Yeah, my first vote is gonna be called on that, and if it goes, it goes. Okay, everybody, you know what you're voting on the application, but with the, it has to conform to MMTO guideline for sightline, right? Everybody in agreement with this? So I'll call it an official vote. Everybody in favor as amended? 1, Roger. 2, Fern? No. Anybody else? I'm only up to 2 now.
I'm not sure, Mr. Chair. Explain that again. Now,
Okay, now we're voting on on the proposed amendment, on the amendment that you've put, that we approve it, subject to the MTO's site, traffic sites.
Okay.
So I have 2 votes in favor. Anybody here? So I guess it have to defeat it. And I guess that was an amendment. I guess no use calling a vote without the amendment because it's more strict. So, so sorry, Mr. Paul, but
Well, just a quick question and follow up. If it was proposed as a subdivision, as allowed under the official plan, would that be more favorable? Because what we say is up to 3, and then anything beyond that goes to a plan of subdivision.
Right.
And municipal affairs supports that as well, because they allowed it to go into the official plan.
Yeah.
Really, all we're doing is we're just calling it something else. And it costs my client about $5,000 more to, and an extra couple of months to go through the subdivision.
Yeah. And I see from the picture, anyway, I'm not standing on the property itself, that if you go that route, you might have the opportunity to have more lots than you have now, because a plan of subdivision stand on its own, as long as proper sewage and water.
Yeah, but we're still limited with the amount of frontage on this particular site. To me,
No, what
to say it's okay by a subdivision, but not by a severance.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have a lot. And I know the vote's already been taken. I understand that, but if my client is interested, then we'll bring it back as a plan of subdivision. But I also think we have to give regard to the fact that it's two separate roads a mile apart. It's not like we're cramming a lot of lots into one small area. You know, these were spread out over, what is it, almost a mile of length with three lots. Surely we still meet the rural character.
Yeah, okay. And one thing I'm suggesting, Mr. Paul, is, I don't know, like, you've drawn a straight line there, but is there a possibility that you could have a common access and then an access that you could create, like, you know, and the picture looks like you could have 5 if there was access to the other 3 there, the other 2. So that's what I'm saying on your plan of subdivision. Yeah, Mr. Goulet, I think maybe you're familiar with the area. Is that possible?
And no, I don't think what Dan's trying to do are actually creating hobby farms. He doesn't want to go to the smaller lots. So he'd be, if anything would happen, he'd be going for a 3-lot subdivision.
Oh, yeah, okay. So no, but would that cover all the forested area? Yes, Melanie?
We really shouldn't be discussing something that would be coming before the Planning Advisory Committee.
Yeah, exactly.
The vote's been taken.
No, he asked me if we would consider, I guess if you present something, we'll consider it for sure, but we cannot give you what we'll decide at the time of the presentation.
And that would be the other committee.
Yeah.
It was looking more for direction.
Oh, okay. So that's why I offered a bit of a comment. The door's open if you want to look at the other option and still achieve the same result or present something. Okay, everybody understand that?
Yep.
Okay.
All righty. Thanks, everyone.
So that's the best we can do tonight. So we have one left.
Last application.
Yeah.
The last application is a.
So should I put a motion on the table first?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Chair.
No
Yes,
problem.
Need a mover
moved
and a
by,
seconder.
Fern and Chris.
It is moved by Fern Pellerin and seconded by Chris Fisher that a minor variance application be granted to Julie Chrétien and Gerhard Polkovitz in order to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 18 meters to 8.53 meters. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is a replacement of an existing legal non-conforming cottage. Mrs. Chrétien and her husband are looking to demolish their existing cottage and relocate it. So on the sketch that you have, the area that is outlined in red will be the footprint of the new dwelling, and the existing cottage is the shown in hash marks on the building location survey. You'll see that the property, the building is being moved away from the east boundary to meet the setback requirements of the bylaw. Unfortunately, they cannot go any farther, any closer to Cottle Road because their field bed precludes moving the dwelling any farther back. So what is being sought here is a minor variance to essentially legalize the existing front yard setback for the new dwelling.
Yeah, and so personally, do we have anything else on this, or do we have receive any comments on that or on this application?
I did have one query last week, and I provided some information. The abutting owner to the west requested some documentation, and if I'm not wrong, I believe he may be on the line. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So I believe Mr. Longo may want to ask some questions.
So, and there's no consultant on this?
No, this is Mrs. Chrétien taking the application on her own.
So the person that has concern, could you please state your name and address and make your comments?
Yes, I'd like to. I'd just like to say that the information here is broken once in a while because of the transmission that we have here. So I apologize if you can't hear me clearly. I hope you can. But good evening to all. Good evening, Mr. Chair. Good evening to the members and Madam Planner. First of all, I would like to say that, yes, I did get an explanation from Madam Planner there with regards to this request. It was on Thursday. Not knowing exactly what was happening with all this, I had to confer with other people, including individuals that I know that could share more information on this. I would like to state with all respect that I did not receive any information until late Friday after business closing hours of the town. Therefore, I have very limited knowledge on this other than what I received from Madam Melanie in regards to what the intent was. As you may have noticed and indicated immediately, Mr. Chair, as you first looked at it, do we have any more information on this? And with all respect, this is the question that I asked myself when I received this. This was, if I can add, was mailed out on April the 1st. I believe there's an interim of 11 days that is allotted for something like this. It was received by us until Wednesday. That would have been 6 days afterwards. Anyways, I'm not arguing about the time that it took for us to receive this. The question and concern that I have is we had no idea what the intent was. All we received was the document that you've probably noticed with the little red rectangle around it in terms of what this was. At first, if you look at it and don't have any other explanation, you will probably look at this and say to yourself, perhaps it's a shift of the building away from our property. But we didn't realize until late Friday after business hours with the town that this was indeed a complete demolition project as well as
Mr. Longo, that's not true. I spoke with you early on Friday and I explained to you that it was a brand new dwelling.
No, you are correct. That's what you told me, but I'm just reiterating, if I may continue. You did indicate what this was. The thing is, we did not receive this information until after I had an opportunity to contact your office. And the only reason I did is because I wasn't sure if this information was available to the public or not. I did consult with my legal representative, and he said, quite frankly, with all respect, that yes, this is for the public record and we need more information. As you know, with great respect to all, we've had some challenges with the abutting neighbors. And unfortunately, they have done certain things that we have not been aware of. And it's been an absolute disaster with great respect.
Okay.
I don't want to continue with the neighbors.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes.
Like, please state what planning issue you're discussing. This has to do with planning. We don't get involved.
I understand.
In confrontation between neighbors or this and that. We
Yes.
deal only with planning matters, okay?
Yes, I understand that. And I apologize, Mr. Chair. I'm not fully conversant with the procedure, but I will respect what you've told me. My concern is that we did not receive the information with respect for what the intent was. We had no knowledge. The only knowledge we had is that this was a minor variance to extend from one distance and reduce to another so that the neighbors can do what they were going to do, and we had no idea of that. That was given to us until, like I say, after Friday.
With respect, Mr. Longo, do you have an objection to your neighbors constructing their new dwelling?
Well, if I may continue, Madam Planner, what I'd like to get at here is if I can finish. The residents of this area, as you've indicated originally, and I apologize for getting lengthy here, is this did not indicate to us at all what the intent was when we first got it. Now we know what it is.
I would like to clarify something.
Yes, sir.
I will not ask that to the planning, the municipal planning clerk. What you mailed out, is it that sheet like that, like we have in our agenda there?
No, they get
With the
they get
attached
an
map?
official notice, and there's information on it to what is being proposed, who the owners are, and my contact for additional information.
So it would read something similar than what I have in front of me. Proposal to reduce front yard setback from 18 meter to 8.53 for proposed replacement of non-compliant cottage with year-round dwelling, right?
That's correct.
So
sorry.
There was-
whatever
through
you've
you-
sent to the neighbors
Mr.
would
Chair.
read similar to that, right?
There was,
Yes.
I will tell you, Mr. Chair, there was an error on the notice. There was a clerical error. It did indicate that it was for an addition, not a replacement.
Okay.
But the net effect is much the same.
Okay, so
May I,
Mr. the applicant, I'll let the applicant continue with his presentation. I just wanted to clarify what he did receive and what the wording was. Okay, Mr. Fisher, I'll get to you later.
may I continue your?
Yes, keep on talking.
Thank you. I'll try to minimize this. The information, there was really no information other than the sketch that I received, as was indicated. I didn't receive anything else. All I have is I have a copy of the survey plan, a portion of the survey plan with the red rectangle showing a few numbers. I don't have anything else to indicate what the intent was. Nothing mentioned about the cottage being demolished or built or a new dwelling. There was nothing received. All I have is I have 2 sheets of paper. I have one that says MV 2022-04. And on the other sheet, I have, there's only basically 2 pages with back-to-back, and there's no other indication here that tells me, because I'm not an expert at this, that tells me what the intent was and what was really happening with the property.
Okay, excuse me just a second, please. Yes, Madame Melanie?
I just wanted to state that Mr. Longo was provided with the same notice and sketch that is required under the Planning Act for every circulation of a minor variance. It was circulated within the stipulated time period, and when Mr. Longo recalled, he was provided not only with the entire application package, but also with the building plans for the new dwelling as well when he requested it.
And I guess that exceed the usual requirement because usually building plans are not provided to third party anyway. Okay, carry on there with, but please come out with
I'll try to make this
a statement on what your problem is there. Because
it's not a problem, Mr. Chair. My only concern is that the information that I received here is very minimal, other than the sketch and what the intent was for the variance. And if I may ask, with all respect, I've contacted my other adjoining neighbor to inquire if perhaps maybe they received more information, and they received the exact same information that I have. So we're not aware of what the intentions are for this, and what I would like to request, if possible, and in all fairness, is that the residents receive somewhat more of a better picture of what's going on, because the other neighbor that I spoke with basically indicated to me, and I quote, "It appears that they're basically shifting their cottage over," but that's about it. So with great respect, I say this is all that I have.
Okay, and then I'll add, regardless whether it's a new building or they're shifting an existing building, it's the same application process and it's the same result. They're trying to make the distance between the actual building and the property line. They are increasing it, but they cannot, and that is coming back into proper order. They cannot go the other way. And These property were originally approved before the municipality of West Nipissing existed. That was done under the old provincial act, and it was approved that way, and we're trying to bring it up to today's standard. So, and the notices that are sent out are done according to the Planning Act. They are standard for everybody. Everybody got the same thing. I think it's clear on it how you can contact the municipality for more information. And I believe that when you did contact the municipality, you were provided with that additional information. And that if that is your only issue, I will consider it dealt with. Do you have other issue or comments as per the planning process that you want to make?
Sir, if I may, just to reiterate, I received minimal information, and all I would like.
You've said that already 5 times, so unless you have some new subject matter to bring up, I guess I'll have to bring this conversation to a close. Thank you very much, sir. And I believe there was a member, Mr.
I would like
Fisher,
to ask
had his
one more
hand up.
thing. Sorry.
Yes, Mr. Fisher, it's your turn.
Okay, so I think I understand what's going on. So all of these properties in this area would be, I guess it was all arranged. They'd all be legal non-conforming. I'm just looking again at the biggest satellite map. So basically everything there is legal non-conforming. If this house burnt down, they could rebuild it where it was, but they've decided they want to rebuild it. They're going to move it over a bit, and really they just want to take what they got, rebuild it, legal non-conforming, and that's it. And it's from the water's edge we're talking about. It's just the water's edge.
That's correct.
Right? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I understand what's going on. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other question from the panel members? Hearing none, I'll call it to a vote. Everybody in favor as circulated? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, carried. Thank you very much. And now I'll need one last resolution.
You guys good for May the 9th?
Yep. Everybody in favor?
Well, I need a mover and a seconder.
Okay, Mr. Roger lifted it and Mr. Senecal did.
It is moved by Raji Gagnon and seconded by Denis Senecal. Be it resolved that the West Nipissing Committee of Adjustment meeting be adjourned to May 9th, 2022.
Everybody in favor? Carried. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, best. So happy, Mr. Fisher?